Hi, I'm Dr. Simon Giles. I'm a GP at the Bay Medical Practice here in Sandown and Shanklin on the Isle of Wight. I'd like to try and talk to you today about how you can keep safe at home living with COVID. I'm talking to you as a GP, but I also have personal experience of this. Earlier in the pandemic, my wife was diagnosed with COVID, so I understand how difficult it can be looking after someone at home with COVID, as well as living with someone with COVID. When you're living with someone with COVID, it's important to try and reduce transmission in the home. Indoor transmission is much higher than it is outdoors, and so therefore there are some things you can do to keep everybody safe. First of all, try and keep 2 meters apart at all times. Also, wear a face mask at home. This might seem unusual, but it can certainly reduce the risks of transmission within the house. Also, avoid sharing personal items like towels, bedding, clothes, and dishes. Finally, try and keep high-touch surfaces as clean as possible. Things like light switches, doorknobs, and banisters. If you clean these regularly, it will also reduce the transmission within the house. I'd like to try and give you some advice about managing the symptoms of COVID at home. Firstly, a temperature. How to recognize when you might have a high temperature. The first thing you'll probably feel is feeling hot or flushed. But this may vary with times of feeling cold and shivery. If you feel like that, do check your temperature. A temperature of 38 or above is significant. Things you can do to try and help in this situation are rest as much as possible. It's also very easy to get dehydrated when you have a temperature, so drink plenty of clear fluids. You can tell if you're drinking enough because your pee will be light yellow or even clear. If you feel uncomfortable with the temperature, it's fine to take paracetamol or ibuprofen. Another significant symptom with COVID-19 is the cough. There are a few things you can do to try and help yourself feel more comfortable with respect to this. Firstly, the position you're in. Generally, in bed, try and lie on one side, or even prop yourself up slightly. Most people find if they lie flat on their back, it'll make the cough worse. During the day, a teaspoon of honey and perhaps a warm drink can help soothe the symptoms. If the cough is still significant, you could phone your local pharmacist or ask a friend to visit them for their advice. If you do cough at home, make sure you try and cover your mouth. If you have a tissue to hand, this is great. Otherwise, perhaps use the corner of your arm. It's also important to make sure you avoid touching your face or mouth and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. The breathlessness people get with COVID is a significant symptom. There are some things you can do to help you feel less breathless. Certainly, cooling the house down a little bit will help. Avoid using fans because this can distribute the germs around the house more easily. Taking slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through the mouth, with your lips slightly closed, as if blowing out a candle can help. Generally, people feel less breathless if they sit up and support themselves, either with their hands on their knees or resting on a chair in front of them. Try not to panic. It can be difficult, but if you feel more anxious, it will make your breathlessness feel worse. If you feel worse, or you feel you're not really coping with your symptoms, it's important to ask for help. Don't sit at home and worry. Firstly, you can visit the online help at 111.nhs.uk/COVID-19. If you don't have online access, then just call 111 for advice. Finally, my 3 top tips if you're living with COVID. Try and rest. It's very important that the body uses all its energy it can to fight the virus. Drink plenty of fluids. It's also easy to become dehydrated in this situation, and clear fluids are best. And my third bit of advice is don't be afraid to ask for help. There are practical solutions on the Isle of Wight. There's a useful website called keeptheislandsafe.org, where you can access services to help you manage with your day-to-day living. But once again, if you need help, please ask. Online at 111.nhs.uk/COVID-19 or call 111. Thank you.